All right, all right. All right, there's the bell. Market is now open here. I've got, we're just going to open here just under R2, red candle down to R1 and S1 are both significant levels, so keep an eye on that, 37.23. And that is where we're going to stick out. And it looks like we're kind of have this swing high level from pre-market, which is all the way back into, I got to get used to my new setup. I finally got my screens going here, so I need my new setup. So 37.24 is kind of a swing high from the past couple of points in the market. Ever since about roughly 2 o'clock in the morning, we've kind of been bouncing off of that level. So we'll see where we go from there. But green's out of the gate, 37.23, and going. Soldier swings, awesome. I don't know. So I want to see where this thing goes. 37.25 right here. Want to see if this thing can drop on back down. If we start breaching 3700, 36.55 and 36.65 will be on deck. But we have to see how we react. There's not really any liquidity above us except way back where we were yesterday. They haven't put anything on. We have our current level, and then we've got way up above us. But still, there's a lot of green coming in here in the tech. Looks like they're going to fill the gap right out of the gate before dropping us back down. Big green candle at 37.35, and we're now almost 50 points higher than we were in pre-market lows. So they are definitely trying to climb us here. But we'll see where we want to go. 37.40 here on ES is where the liquidity is on Bookmap. Looking at the NASDAQ, there's a large level here, right there. We just blasted through it, and they are beast moding us back up again. And it looks like they're going to fill the gap early and get this over with. Wow, talking about changing the game. All right, 37.35 on ES. Amazon has already broken back even and looking to go green. Microsoft is doing the same. Meta's way up there as well. A lot of craziness. All right, I had a quick future scalp that I took right before the bell, right there, right to 37.40 here on ES. Big climb here on ES. All right, nice. 250% in puts. Wow. Nice. All right. Yeah, so 37.39, 37.38, big spike in green. I'm going to look to short the living crap out of this spike already here. 37.43 coming up, and where is the gap on SPY? So come up here to 374, so we're about $1.50 before already. So SPX 37.40 puts at the moment. Let's take a look here. 37.40 puts are currently trading for $22.10. Today I'm looking at today. So we'll see how this kind of works. Hey, what up, YouTube? So I got you going now, so I can monitor a lot more stuff. Now that I got these screens, I can actually start to monitor the chat a little bit better here. So welcome to the channel. How is TLT correlated to the SPY? That is the bond market. That was a, wow, big red candle right off of 3744. So we have a little bit of liquidity at 37.50. We almost got there. We got the 37.45, 5 points below. And they took that off earlier. They put it back on. And we had two big green candles out of the gate. Promptly dumped us right out of that candle. 6% on that nice candle. Nice OGZ. So that was a massive bull rally out of the gate and a quick dump. And bringing us back down. 8.1% on a quick scalp. Nicely done. Yeah, I'm already up 23% on a quick scalp on that 37.40 put. So looking good. Trying to see how far they're going to take us after a big green pop on the bulls on the moment. So, we've got trying to scale these. We've already popped up to R3, which is a considerable level. We already bounced off S1, R1, which are both considerable levels. And we've got the NASDAQ way down here at 11,503, and the VIX fell off to 30 on that pop. So we're still just kind of hanging out. A little bit of drive down on 37.30 here, coming on down. Yeah, I just opened a scalp put on 37.40s. Actually, pretty well timed, right at the top of that red candle. So coming on down to 37.29, trying to get now. This is that swing high level, the 37.24 on 37.24.50 on ES, which we breached through, and then we came up and literally rejected R3 almost down to the penny on SPY. So that S30, and they took off 37.50. So there's a good chance they could bring this all the way back down to 36.90-ish, where we kind of bottomed out in the pre-market, and 3700. But we've already rejected R3 aggressively. They took off the 37.50 on Bookmap here, and trying to figure out where they're going to go after that big green open. Is the VIX stuck? No, the VIX came off to 30.40. So they did gap down on the VIX at the open, hovering out here on 30.40. Seeing where that's going to move from here. So looking at all the other tech stocks, Apple is rounding back over, but all the other tech stocks are holding out. So we'll see. 37.31 here on ES. They've got way up above stuff, 37.95, 38.10, 38.15, all that stuff that's been up there yesterday. And they had 37.50. They've taken that off. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's got this level here at 11,537. And not really much else. Not really much else. So pinned right here at 37.34 on ES. Am I looking at taking a swing put in it next week? I'll see how today plays out. Yesterday obviously was from a percentage standpoint a very bullish day. From a volume standpoint, it was nothing. It was a pretty anemic, and that just that's been pretty much the name of the game the past few weeks. Is that all bullish rallies are sold off, and yesterday this one's obviously sold off pretty quick. So. All right, so we've got a green candle. There's a lot of volatility here. These are some pretty large candles shaking and baking. So we've already bounced off 37.04, went all the way up to 37.45. Quick red candle, and now we're negotiating the follow-on on this green to see where we go. Looking at the other tech stocks, Apple's coming off, Amazon's sticking sideways. Meta was down big time in pre-market. They have made up everything and spiked over 160, so a very aggressive response from Meta. Being down as far as they were. So. And now ES is bouncing all the way back. So a very large green pop, a red sell-off, a green bounce up right here, and 37.40. So a lot of volatility this morning. Already some pretty dang big candles in response here in the morning time from the bulls. So. How does Bookmap look like? They've got 37.50. They're toying with it. They keep putting it on, taking it off. They still have stuff way below us. They've got the stuff that's way up above. But it's stuff that was there last week, or I'm sorry, yesterday as well. So now we're just kind of bumping up here against 37.40, 37.37. Straight green candles here from ES. Coming up again for another test of R3. NASDAQ has jumped up to 11,512 after bouncing off about 365. And another rejection of R3, 37.33. Yep. So another level, and you can kind of see on that level, on the R3, that it is significant. It is a significant level here. So we'll see how well it holds. There's no liquidity above our current location. So it's up to the buyers to defend this little green pop and bring us higher, as we already 9 minutes into the day, and we've popped this big time green. So trying our best to defend the pre-market sell-off. The name of the game since May 27th has been very, very large moves in pre-market, followed by some volatile chop during the actual trading session, and then we'll make a move in like the last 30 minutes of the day. Right now, we've had a huge sell-off, and already SPY has gone from S1 to R3, and trying to negotiate what's going to happen here. We did fill the gap, so oh no, we didn't. We were up to yesterday's gap, yesterday morning's. So the Bookmap on YouTube. Here, let me bring that up there. I can do that. There we go. There we go. And there you go. There's the Bookmap right there. All right, so 37.30, right off 37.37, and still coming on down, still riding these puts. I'd like to get down to S1. If I can get them back down to S1, that would be a pretty phenomenal win to start the day off. But bulls are still defending R2 here. So 37.27 ES, 37.28 after rejection, 37.40. No, I'm good. I think I did see some chatter about them making a difference, a change in trading view about switching the light mode or something like that. I don't know. I'm still using dark mode. Everything still works, so I don't know. So yeah. You didn't really miss anything yet. If we fall, I'm looking for a move down to S1. So if we can fall down to S1, that would be beautiful. But right now, all red candles are bottom wicked, so I am going to set a stop on these. I don't want these to go much higher. And in fact, this actually looks like a bull flag. So I don't necessarily like this current position. The Bookmap has got 37.50 as the top level, and then 3,700 and 36.50 on the way down. So J-Pal starts talking at 8:30. Yeah, so 9:30 Eastern. So he talked right at it started right at the market open. There is a live link. You can watch it on the Federal Reserve website. So he is talking at the moment, or at least the event has started. I don't know if he's talking. The event has started, so I'm not sure. Big green candle here, coming back up. I do. Yeah, I do have the SPX SPY conversion. That is in the market analysis channel. So these puts are jumping back and forth between 37% profit and 3% loss at the moment, as the bulls look like they want to bring us up through R3 here. So we'll see. Definitely choppy. This actually does look like a bull flag, so I'm definitely going to set a stop on these puts. They're currently break even at the moment, but I want to see where this goes. We're coming up on the first half hour of the day being over with. So this thing is kind of hanging out. It's trying to figure out what it wants to do under R3. I'm watching the Bookmap, like I said. 37.50 appears to be the upside target. If we go higher under that, I think we could start revisiting 3,700 to the downside. So yeah, so oil is going crazy right now to the downside. It's selling off after a very, very bullish past 5-6 weeks. It's had a big drop on oil. In fact, it's down to 102 after being almost 130. XLE was up over 90. Now it's 73. So we saw the crazy reversal on that. So yeah, now we're just kind of figuring out where we're going to go here. All of tech is going nuts. Amazon has filled the gap and then some. Nasdaq is still down 0.54. ES is down 0.74. Meta is climbing up aggressively here. Amazon's still spiking. Tech is starting to slowly go more green. XLF is the limiting factor here. XLF was gapped down. Now is spiking up to 31.13 after being down to 30.84. Should have taken the XLE puts. Tell me about it. So it looks like the bull flag is playing out there, climbing up just a touch here. And we've got Bookmap looking at 37.50, trying to ping that. LRS, there you go. So tech looking very bullish. Everything sold off the entire night. The second the bell rang, the bulls came out of the gate screaming, and so far they haven't let up yet. Let up yet. We'll see how that plays out. What's the name of the tool on the left? That is Bookmap. So if you, it's a tool that plots liquidity in the market live for us. It takes on and off, on and off. It allows us to see that liquidity being manipulated in the market. And so yeah, awesome stuff. Added that tool a couple months ago. It's completely changed the game. It's allowed me to plan my exits pretty aggressively and put on some big wins. So I like it. So 37.45 again on ES, coming up there, bumping up against that R3. We've got 37.50 on the Bookmap, trying to ping up against there. So watch for tech now. Tech obviously is leading the way here. XLF is still weak. Tech had a very strong response to the overwhelmingly red pre-market, and is now it's come up and filled all of the big tech stocks have pretty much filled the gap, almost there. Microsoft is almost there. Apple's almost there. Amazon's done it. So watch for tech to kind of lead the way here. Nasdaq blasted is already up 200 points on the day here. So we'll see what happens. Not on the day, but from pre-market lows, I should say. So we'll see how they respond. Other than the morning opening, the normal opening volume, no. So, yeah, healthcare raged yesterday. UNH alone was up 6% yesterday, which is 8% of the Dow. So UNH alone, United Healthcare, was up 6%. So crazy stuff. As the market is definitely buying into this little weakness here. So I don't anticipate that to hold. I do anticipate this to reverse and come back down. But we'll see. We'll see how the first 30 minutes of the day kind of play out here after this red. Maybe not all the way down, maybe, but we'll see. The liquidity's got 37.50. There's not, and what I'm looking for on an up day, I'm looking for, if they're going to start blasting higher, are you going to take out those levels and put them on higher? Are you going to take them out and then put more liquidity up? Look at pour more liquidity up and up. That's indicative of a strong response. So far, all I'm seeing is 37.50. We keep rejecting up against that. And I'm trying to monitor that to see where it's going to go. So 37.43 on ES here. With the lowest we got in pre-market was 36.93. So we are already 50 points higher than where we were in pre-market. Yeah, Pal's live for show. What's up? How you doing? I'm always thinking about these long dated puts. I'm trying to figure out where the market wants to take us, though. I'm trying to figure out where it wants to take us. This reversal here is great. It just shows me that monitoring the option chain, monitoring this data is very crucial. So I was glad to see this sell-off this morning because yesterday it was like I thought I was overblown, especially on the volume and the option chain that we had. And we'll see how it responds. We definitely have a little bullish response off there, 50 points up, and we're just kind of hanging out here on R3 already, waiting for NASDAQ, the tech stocks, to respond to this little bullish response here. So, good stuff. Yeah, if we do, I'm not sure where we're going to go today. Like I said yesterday, my long-term planning would be decided on today's daily candle. Yesterday was nearly a 4% day on NASDAQ, so I wanted to see how today's daily candle handled that yesterday's action. We do have a down candle here. We'll see if they wick it up, which would require us to come all the way back up to pretty much where we were. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So JPowell's talking today. The event goes into tomorrow, so we'll see. We will see. Hey, you're welcome, Murph. Thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. So it also depends on what Powell is saying today. Powell is coming out and talking. I don't know what he's going to say. It is directly correlated to the market. So I do expect some volatility today. We are seeing a lot of volatility so far. Huge candles, up and down, red. Buyers and sellers are both duking it out. So I'm not sure what he's going to say today. We'll see. I'd be surprised if it was as volatile as what FOMC should be, but it's still Jay Powell, and he's talking about the market. So, yeah, tech, huge response from tech. Huge response. So financials are still rounding over, but huge response from tech. All right, still holding here at R3. XLV still doing its thing. Amazon is blasting. So a very, very surprising response by tech here. After selling off an aggressive amount, now they are just roasting. But it's the first 30 minutes, so that's why the volatility is extremely high, because this is the kind of crap that happens. So bouncing up still on R3. 437.42, 47.33. VIX is now 30.27. The VIX still ain't moving. The VIX still ain't moving. So big green candle there at 37.48, 37.47. And UNH is absolutely blasting, up another 1%. Yeah, UNH is up 1.18%. Meta is up to 1.59 and climbing. Crazy stuff. A lot of bullish response here. 37.50, which brings us from 36.93 up to 37.50. So crazy move already. 50 points out of the gate, which I think will be sold off. So 37.50 and still climbing. That was that Bookmap level at 37.50, and they're bringing it back up to 37.62. 37.55, now almost 60 points off lows, now almost 70 points off lows, 37.57. My stop loss is just tripped, and we're continuing to climb. Wow, look at this. So now let's play calls. When they start doing this crazy stuff, at least until the next couple of minutes, we'll do that. 37.56 and climbing. This is ridiculous. 26, what are we doing? I'm going to do 37.50 calls. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're squeezing these puts. So, so Tesla, Amazon, it just put on from 105 to 109, 110. XLF is now climbing up. Tech is absolutely screaming. So, what a day. What a day. What a move. What a move. Completely reversed all of last night's sell-off in 15 minutes. So, and climbing 3760. So now 67 points off lows. And I think they're going to sell every bit of this off. Mark my words. They'll sell every bit of this off now. I feel silly taking that loss, considering I was up 34% on those, but I didn't expect this. That's fine. Sometimes it happens. $37.57 on ES right now. They've got liquidity at $37.57 and up to $37.70, which is back where we were. I believe pre-market, that's where we closed. Let's see, we closed the market at what, roughly 37.67. So we're about 8 points off from our close. So we're filling the gap now, and if I was a bet man, they're going to sell every cent of this off into the close. So I'm actually going to be looking for more put entries here in about 15 minutes, but right now I'm looking to scalp calls on the way up. Still no positions though. Still no positions. So, hanging out. $37.61 still climbing. Going for a 70-point move off pre-market lows in 20 minutes. Yep, I'm waiting for the puts. They're going to sell every bit of this off into the close. So I'm just looking for a put entry here, and I'm going to scalp calls on the way up here. When you say fill the gap, does that mean they're going up to yesterday's close? Yes. Yep. Yep. $37.60, $37.58. Would you buy a put and just scalp calls? That's a good way to do it. Yeah, you can kind of scalp your way in and out of a strangle or a straddle. That's one way to play it. I think that's pretty much it on terms of all. No, they didn't get fill yet. Almost. They almost got there. Literally win a couple of cents. No, they did do it. They did do it. So we'll see if they go from here. Coming up for the gap fill. That's an aggressive gap. That's one of the more aggressive gap fills I've seen on a non-event day. That's probably one of the more aggressive gap fills I've seen in the past 90 days. And it doesn't have to fill perfectly. You know, it doesn't have to fill perfectly. It's just got to get up there. So, and trust me, I think we'll see pre-market lows before the market bell. Yep, definitely. Definitely. So we'll see. We'll see. VIX came down. The VIX barely moved on a 70-point move. So the VIX is still holding over 30, which tells me that IV did not come off. Puts did not close from an institutional level. So we'll see what happens there. No, I closed them out. They set the stop. I said that right when they hit 30%. So it was a loss, but it is what it is. Right now, I'm looking for another. I'll take a pretty large put position. It'll probably be it'll be a larger position size than normal when we actually do start the round on the way down. So this is not going to hold, I promise you. This is the point of it. So when you have a very large pre-market sell-off like we had on nearly 100 points, and then we promptly and aggressively buy it up, we're squeezing out all the shorts. People are taking shorts off. They're covering their positions. They're taking profits, especially on a no event. There was no catalyst to bring this back up, so they'll bring it off again. You took a 75% win. I've almost done that. I did that with Netflix. That's what I did with Netflix. Back on the earnings report for Netflix, I tried to take a Strangle on Netflix, and I accidentally bought 2 puts. So I woke up to 4 times the amount of profit I was expecting. That was a pretty good day. It happens. It happens. No, I'm not going to take 3,700 puts. That'll be aggressive. Although, I don't know. We could do it. I'll be looking at probably 37.50, 37.30, depending on when I enter. Maybe 37.20. Yeah, definitely rogue. VIX is still holding 30. It's popping back up here. I don't see that, trader. I don't see that. Yesterday's upside was incredibly overblown on no volume. So right now, we'll see how we react to that, how we react to this morning. Yeah, definitely W dog. Those great exits, man. Those great exits. Put equivalent for what's the equivalent for SPY? Do that conversion value in market analysis, divide by 10, and add that $19 value. And kind of like I said there in the tier 2 room, we need to keep an eye on 3 things today: the bonds, the XLF, and the VIX. The VIX is not moving. It didn't move off yesterday. That IV did not come off yesterday. So, yeah. All right. XLF is top wicking here. Microsoft is coming back off. Apple's coming back off here. And we're kind of hanging out at that 37.50 level that's on Bookmap, which we got that 37.50, 37.60 areas liquidity they're putting on. Yeah, it's I think 1993, something like that. Yeah, 19.93 is the conversion value. No, I'm not listening to it, Daddy. So, coming up on 10 o'clock, or right past 10 o'clock, trying to see how we are going to respond to both big selling action and now big buying action. Right back to yesterday's close. So, wiped out the entire pre-market in 20 minutes. Now, I've already said my piece. I do think we'll see pre-market lows before the bell. However, I'm ready for anything. Currently, no positions. I'm currently ready for anything. So, if they do want to bring this back up to yesterday's highs, that would surprise me. But we'll play some calls on the way up. If we do go back up to yesterday's highs, I may actually take a swing put into tomorrow, or at least some futures. I'll probably do futures though, so I can get out of the position if I'm wrong. But we'll see. Either way, if we do break above 37.60, I'll look for a move to R5 and play calls up until there, maybe 37.80, which is just a touch below yesterday's highs. So that's kind of what I'm game planning here. And then kind of look for an entry into the afternoon. No. I don't think a call credit spread to me does look very attractive this morning, but I want to see how this move plays out first. I need to make sure, is my thesis correct on back downside, or are they going to bring this back up to yesterday's highs? Because I don't want to put on a credit spread at the moment. So we'll see. Yeah, definitely patient purple. For futures, what's your typical stop you place? How many points? I do not play. I don't hold futures for long into loss very often. If I'm if I am if I am in a point where I want to hold on to a futures play, what I'll do is, if, for example, if I long futures, if I long ES and I'm incorrect, the only way I'll hold that position is if I short NASDAQ against that position on downside. And then I'll kind of figure out, that'll buy me time is what that does. So I'll short NASDAQ against my long ES, and that buys me time. That pretty much, there's about a 20-point range that it locks my P&L. It doesn't move. And then eventually, if it moves far enough, the NASDAQ will overcome the ES because NASDAQ is more aggressive. So that kind of locks my P&L. It keeps it from moving. My overall P&L doesn't adjust. And that buys me time. What's going to happen? Is my thesis right? Was it just a bad entry and I was wrong and I need to close out the ES long and just stick with the shorts, etc. If that doesn't happen, or if it's just pretty obvious that I'm just wrong, then I'll just go ahead and close it. I'll go ahead and close it all together. But I do not let it go for very long by itself, without some sort of hedge against it. Why? Because you can get in a really bad habit with futures very quickly. People think that they can hold on to futures perpetually because there's no theta on them, and then all they have to do is wait through the downside and come back. But that's a very dangerous way to think with futures. You could zero out your account doing that stuff. So. Do you place both stops? I don't. I'll monitor. When I am in a position like that, I manage it pretty closely. It's pretty hands-on for me when I am both long and short a futures position, because that's telling me that is management mode. I need to figure out what's happening. I need to figure out what's going on. Did I place an incorrect entry? Stuff like that. So Rev was up another 50%. Yeah, that stuff is crazy, man. Crazy. I'm keeping an eye on it. Would you recommend debit spreads for a smaller account? Debit spreads are a good way to go. They reduce your risk profile, and you can manage a position a little bit better. It depends what you mean by a smaller account, though. You still have to have money to manage positions. $37.55, another bounce off the 8 EMA. Definitely a trend morning so far, $37.55, and we've raged 65 points so far. Why is Rev skyrocketing? Couldn't tell you. Is it a buyout? Kind of like that Hertz rent-a-car stuff. They announced they're going bankrupt and their price skyrocketed. I need to post my exit. Stopped out. Bam. So yesterday I stopped out for 20% profit. Today I was stopped out for 30% loss. No bueno. But stop save you. Can you play ES on a level 2 cash account, long as as long calls and puts and avoid the PTS rule. That's the issue. When you start playing back and forth between futures and long options, you can start getting into an iffy area with PDT if you are right on the verge. That's where you get into the thing where you do not want to hold futures overnight, especially if you are in a losing position, because you'll have that market-to-market adjustment, and it could potentially breach that PDT limit for your options trading. So you just got to be careful. You got to be careful when they do the market sweeps and the settlement close. You'll have that little ding against your PDT. So, I'm trying to form my thesis here, seeing how this action is going to play out. Definitely didn't expect this, but when I see stuff I don't expect like this, I play cautiously, and I start to really analyze that price action to figure out where we're going on here. We are having a lot of top wicks, a little consolidation here. Pretty much everything has filled the gap. If you are playing a fill the gap theory, then this would be the time to start looking for a reversal. But I want to make sure I ever see it. I want to see if this does reverse. If this does reverse and come back down, there's plenty of time to get in a position, so I'm not going to front run a put here. I want to be very smart, especially after taking a loss this morning. Especially after a loss that was up 34%. It reversed on me and stopped me out. So definitely want to be very cautious here and see if they are going to bring this back up. Very strong response by tech. Yep, volume's down just like it was yesterday. I don't anticipate the positive delta flow implementing. I need to bring up the hero indicator and take a look, see how the delta flow is coming in. But we'll see. 3760 is the large node on Bookmap at the moment for liquidity. I still have calls up here just in case they decide to bring us higher. I will bring up calls. I'll probably play the 3760s on today contracts if they go higher with this. But I need to see kind of 3760 be breached. I need to see volume step in, which we're not getting. And I'll be looking for yesterday's highs if they do pop us up even higher, which I think was 3787, 3783. I'm sorry. But we're still riding the 8 EMA as if this was a trend up day. So until I see the trend break, I'm going to play it as a trend up with anticipation of it not lasting throughout the day. If you put a stop loss in E-Trade, it lets you sell those same contracts at the price they are right now because of Robinhood. Yes, that's E-Trade has to do the same thing. So, like I go in there. So what I do when I set a position like that, I set a stop. I'll modify the order, and I'll leave that up. Like I'll open a modified order, so all I have to do is submit the price I want and send it, and it's sold at the price I want. But that stop loss keeps me safe. It keeps me from blowing up a position. Apple is squeezing 136.28. Microsoft is about to break up there. Amazon just put in a new high of the day. XLF is about to put in a new high, and I think we're going to go to yesterday's highs. We're less than 20 points off of yesterday's highs already. So, and we are now 80 points off lows. So, on no volume, which is funny. Do you post your futures trades for Tier 2 in Discord? I do post my longer term stuff in Tier 2. I don't post my futures scalps because I'm usually only in them for a couple of seconds. But anything that I'm scalping, I don't it's hard to post live. Yeah, theta, definitely. Yeah, everything, all indicators like that are going to be squeezing to the upside now because of this huge move. It's all those lagging indicators, the squeeze, the RSI, all that stuff is going to be indicating bullishness now because there's a huge reversal in price. And when you get those big reversals, those lagging indicators are going to skew to the upside, and it's very difficult to read when you get moves like this. It'll skew the data heavily. But just as fast as this climbing, it's going to reverse and come back down. So especially this is a non-catalyst low volume squeeze to squeeze out shorts. TLT's coming off 112.83, and they popped up from 109. So big move in the bonds. There's no response from XLF here too. Starting to look at some CCSs here too. So I think this might be a prime. Now they did put on 37.95. So if they go to 37.95 and they do a 102-point reversal, that would be insane. Especially, I mean, we're already almost there, and it's not even 10:30 yet. Can Powell's testimony be the catalyst today? It could, but he didn't say anything bullish. That's the thing. So yep. Would it be wiser putting a PCS? No, because my thesis is that they're going to reverse every cent of this today. So I don't want to put on a PCS here. I think they're coming back down. So my thing is I would be surprised to see yesterday's highs being breached, and I would be surprised to see 3,800 breached. So I'm going to be looking at putting on a PCS or CCS above. Yeah, VIX once again, VIX ain't moving at all. So this is yet another fake rally. It's another bull trap. So if this does go up to 3,800, I'm buying puts. So I'm going to ride this up now. Scalping some 37.60 calls at the moment, up through 37.72. We'll see if we can go to pre-market highs. Yeah, and so when Powell is still talking, we need to be on guard on how he's going to do, what's going to happen after he stops talking. So, well, you're looking at it wrong, Trader J. The VIX isn't moving because there's no calls being bought. There's no calls being bought, and there's no puts being sold. So now conversely, just like the VIX is not going up, it's not going down either. So it's not moving at all because they're not hedging for more downside and they're not buying calls for the upside. So it's pretty neutral at the moment. So we are creeping up here, bouncing off the 8 EMA. Well, you know, I'm biased too, but still, oh crap. Yeah, I was muted again. So yeah, I mean, I'm biased too, but that doesn't mean we can't play calls too. You know, just because you have a bias doesn't mean you shouldn't be stubborn enough to play calls. So yeah, I've actually was talking about that. So scalping some 37.60 calls, seeing if we can get up to 37.84, which is yesterday's highs. If we get to yesterday's highs, I'm going to be looking to put on some call credit spreads for the day, just because this is starting to become a little silly. And I definitely want to start putting on some positions that could pay off really well at the end of the day. We're already at R5. We bounced off S1. We've gone to R5. Yeah, and just because you're biased doesn't mean you need to take a play that counter your bias, because bias could get you in trouble. So yeah. Yeah, just closed my 37.60 for 30%. It's right there. So, and it's still going up. It's just squeezing. It's just squeezing. So they're going to squeeze every short out, and then they're going to dump it. So now I'm going to go up to 3780s and scalp those. So I'm going 3780s. No, your VIX is not broken. The VIX is not moving at all. It's not moving. It's still over 30. So, and this is now we're squeezing. Those last three candles, we're squeezing out the shorts. People are starting to close their short positions, and they're starting to close the stuff out. So just be on guard. Just be on guard. We're at 37.77. We are 85 points off of pre-market lows, and they're squeezing every short out of this market here. You don't know, Moonme. We have to monitor the volume, and that was a spike in volume there. So we'll monitor the volume. We also want to monitor what happens at yesterday's highs. The 37.84 was yesterday's highs. So we want to monitor that. And the fact that I'm even talking about yesterday's highs is ridiculous, especially on what I'm seeing here. All the internals are saying this should not be happening, but seeing 37.84, if we see that, then that's going to get a little crazy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens if that gets breached. If we go to 37.84, I'm going to look at putting on some call credit spreads. Just for today, 0 DT call credit spreads. And it's funny, if you read the write-up from SpotCam, he talked about how his hero indicator showed yesterday that it was interesting because the positive delta never spiked, which indicated that the call buying never actually came in. Not to mention the low is an overall low volume day too. But yet, healthcare was absolutely screaming. So healthcare, Tesla were both insane. I think Tesla once at one point hit 11.5%. So Tesla was up 11.5%. Healthcare, UNH was up 8 or 6%. And it was obviously a very green day. So let's see here. VIX still not moving, hovering over 30. SPY went from S1 to R5. We're now right at R5. I do have a... no, I don't. I need to calculate an R6. No, we won't need an R7. We might need an S6, but we won't need an R7. 37.85 right now. All right, I'm going to look at, let's see, June 22nd. Man, I can get $1.20 for the 38.30s. 38.60s. I can get $1 for a 30 wide 38.30 call credit spread right now. But I'm going to see how this plays out. Still squeezing. All right, so now I'm looking at 37.80 calls. I can't even get in them. Do I do spreads on futures? No, I just played straight up spread. I just play straight up futures. Futures are a way to either I use futures in two ways. Pretty much augment my weekly income by scalping, or as hedges. When I haven't used them as hedges very often because I haven't traded spreads all that much since April. So look at this. This is crazy. All right, 37.80s are already in the money, so I'm going to go to 37.90s and put on those things. Don't fight it. Just play it. We're squeezing now. What they're doing is squeezing that all the shorts. So 37.90s. 37.83 at the moment. No, I mean this is we're 100 points off pre-market lows. So I mean, you know that'll do it. That'll do it. Especially on it's market conditions and it's unexpected. That's how you squeeze shorts. When you have a 100-point sell-off in pre-market and then out of the gate you roasted 100 points up, that's where you get that squeeze. You squeeze all the shorts out. Bring this down. By the green up to 37.86. is going on with that? Bring this up. All right, sorry about that. How to do this? There we go. All right, so we're hanging out at 3784. When you get a second to show us the Bookmap, it shows at 3400. Oh, you want to see it 3400? All right. Nothing. There's got a little bit, but that's way on down there. So, in fact, they've taken everything they had off at 3650. They've taken off all lower liquidity, and they put on 3826. So they are building levels in above us: 3826, 3800, 3812, 3837, and 3862. One sec, I'm calculating R6 at the moment. I'm riding 3790s right now, scalping. All I'm doing is scalping the crap out of this. 36. I'm stair stepping up like I did in that video. 3760, 3770s. I'm just doing 10-point increments there. I tried to get 3780s, but those went in the money so fast I just went ahead and switched to the 3790s. And all I'm doing is scalping those things up. So I'm actually green on the day now. I made up that loss that I had this morning. Great. And I'm just buying myself some cushion into what's going to happen this afternoon. Stand by. I'm looking at it. SPY is going from 386 to 377. I got. There's that. I can't do all my data points here because I'm limited by what I can do here. So, but 377. Standby 1. Still going up. This is silly. Cool. I'll be silly with it though. I'll let my calls go to 100%. Let's do it. That's the thing, man. You see action happening. You just gotta ride it. You just gotta hang on and let it go with you. Don't fight the trend. You got to get on and go. Nice, Kevin. Well done. Nah. Y'all can't think like that. Just keep riding it. Just keep riding it. Okay. All right, I'm posting R6 now. There you go. No. Is this the top? I don't know. When you get into squeeze mode, you don't really know what the top is because you're not at that point. The goal is to get the shorts are going to cover everything. They're going to close out everything. So I don't know. When you get into that mode, it's dangerous calling the top in a squeeze because it can just keep on going. Does your thesis change today since it removed some liquidity below us? The daily liquidity has been removed. They've put on 38.32. I'm sorry, is the highest amount of liquidity they put on. So yeah, I'll post a Bookmap here. I gotta get used to these screens. I got my new setup going here, my 3 screens. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. I will adjust my thesis. I don't think we'll come all the way back down. I do think we're going to give back at least half of this now. But this is such an egregious move and such a strong move that I'm not sure if we're going to come all the way back down. We've popped yesterday. SPY blew through yesterday's highs. So we've taken out, that's a big level. And that's the key determinant there. When you start taking out the prior day's highs on a move like this, that's a different game. So I'll be looking for some. I don't expect to come all the way back down to lows just because of what's happened here. Above here changes things, so I will expect some of this back. So either way, all I'm doing is forming theses. I'm forming plans in my head. So, and I'm still playing counter bias. Even if I am counter to the downside, I'm still playing upside. But look at tech. I mean, you can kind of see here what's going on. I mean, look at it. Oh, actually, you can't see these charts. I mean, look at Amazon, look at Apple, look at Microsoft. They're all exponential, and Apple's still putting in new highs here, as we're looks like we're going to make a quick move to 380. Do you get anything from the red-green bubbles? Yep. So that's where we start talking about our absorption. When you see larger bubbles being put on, that's where you're looking at those levels to be taken out. So right now, for example, we're grinding up against 3790. There's a large order. There's a crap ton of liquidity between us and 3800. So if I want to see 3795 being taken out, I need a very large green bubble on Bookmap and squeeze that out. All right. Well, I closed out of my 3790 scalps, but it looks like I'm going to re-enter them here. Can you talk about how you place your stops? Yeah, it all depends on the price action. My 37, what are those? I think those are 3740 puts I was in. The 3740 puts, I had a very large breathing room. I was up 34% on them. They quickly came back to break even. I was kind of waiting. I started to identify a bull flag. When I identified the bull flag, I put a stop on them to just in case this did blast up, I'd take out. And it did. It took me out at 37. It took me out at 30%. So, and then sometimes I don't want to let 30%. Sometimes I want to take a break-even stop. So sometimes when the price action moves one way or the other, and I'm not quite sure, I will set a break-even stop. But sometimes I'll wait till it's actually in the green. So if I take a position, it's up 3, 4, 10%. I'll set a break-even stop. I just do not want it to go back in the negative. It all depends on my confidence level, and that'll be fine. Yeah, so the VIX still ain't moving. It's holding right at 30. That'll be my determinant here to figure out what happens. As long as the options chain, as long as the volume in the options chain remains this low, the VIX ain't going to move. If big money is not buying puts for downside, the VIX ain't going to spike. If they're not buying calls and selling all that downside action, the VIX ain't going to drop. That's why VIX is still holding here 29 and 30. So currently no positions. I've got the 3790 calls up, and I'm going to see kind of how this fizzle out here. As long as tech is continuing to squeeze, I'm not going to take puts. If I start to see some consolidation there, I'll look at taking some downside. But currently no positions. That's the thing, is that Powell said nothing bullish. In fact, quite the opposite. But that's what telling me with this volume, with the option chain, that this is, to me, a short squeeze. They squeeze the crap out of everybody. I wish this has happened a couple of times before. I wish I can go back and figure out which day it was, and I could do that post-market to see how the action went into the afternoon. And then plus on top of that, Bookmap has this pinned higher. They've got liquidity at 37.95, 3800, and above. That daily candle is insane on ES. Huge bottom, a huge hammer candle on the daily chart for ES. Going higher. Yeah, we're in squeeze mode. Every red candle is bought up. We're not even getting close to the 8 EMA. That's how aggressive this is right now. This is, we're 100 points higher than we were 3 hours ago. So this is one of those things. Don't fight it. I'm going to play calls. 37.90s. A little fun in the sun for the Bulls until we drop back down. It was looking antsy there for a second. Well, that's why you set stops, Blue. That's why I set stops. Don't sit here and watch this thing go to 38.40 and not take any calls. So just play the trend until the trend breaks. Yeah, this is squeezing. Take advantage of it. Don't sit here and watch this thing go past 3,800 and not play anything. Like this, you gotta put a position on, set a stop, and then wait it out, because we are in absolute squeeze mode. They squeeze. Everyone was going so short in pre-market, and they're squeezing everybody out. So this is hundreds of millions of shorts being squeezed out right here, and it rocketed us 100 points. SPY is going on 10 points higher. We went from S1, and now I'm gonna have to calculate an R7. So I monitor TTM on the daily chart, but not on the daily stuff. Look at this, 37.95 going for 3,800. It's literally straight up. Look, I'm doing the horizontal line on my charts. It's straight up. Am I continuing to take profits and take calls? Yeah. So all I'm doing is scalping very quickly. So when I that's all I'm doing. Is scalping in and out. Coming up on 3,800. That's a nice round number. The market loves round numbers. They've got a crap ton of liquidity at 3,800. So watch out there. Watch out there. Yeah, invest in infrastructure. I like that. It's actually a good comment. See if he means it though. Yeah, so watch out for 3,800. Significant amount of liquidity. All right. So now another green candle eating up the red. Still squeezing. We are still in squeeze mode. Look at the 15. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. We are still very much in squeeze mode. There's no real top wicks here, other than just kind of normal price oscillation. So right now it's still just going. It's still just going. 15-minute chart, and then the 3, very bullish. Everything very bullish. Yeah, it'll definitely come down a bit. After the squeeze, it'll have to fill some of that void, but I don't know how far it's going to come down after today. They definitely flipped the script on us today. They did put on 37.80 on Bookmap. It depends. It depends, right? Occasionally I'll do stop limit orders. But if I'm sitting here actively monitoring the position, I'll just do a stop if need be. But that time I did have a stop because it was starting to look like a bull flag. And I obviously wasn't expecting this kind of squeeze. And that's what you do. That's how you keep you safe. $377.44. So for me, 3,800 is the make or break for the day. That is a large level. That is pretty close to one of my major levels I've calculated for the month. If we breach over that and continue this squeeze, then I may consider. I don't know. I got to see how this acts. Over 3,800, things get different because it changes the makeup of the charts and it starts breaking through trends. So 3,800 is a key determinant here. We'll see when the squeeze is going to end. Any liquidity? Yeah. So they got 37.80 on Bookmap. I'll give you all a little update here. Still no positions here. Right there. 37.92. We haven't even touched the 8 EMA yet. Not in the past 30 minutes. Let's say you buy a SPY put for $300. What would your stop loss be? I mean, it depends on the situation. I don't set my stops based on a dollar amount. I set it based on the current situation. Whether or not I'm going to be aggressive with my stop, lenient with my stop, it depends. Sometimes I'll set a stop at 30%. Sometimes I'll set a stop at break even. Sometimes I'll set a stop in profit. It all depends on the current situation. My first measure of risk mitigation is position size. The second risk mitigation is my exit, and whether that be a stop or manually managing or whatever it is. So, would it be smart to put long shorts near those periods of liquidity? No, not near them. I'll use those as defenses, but if like right now, 38.30 is a large level. If they do continue to squeeze up to 38.30, it's going to smoke call credit spreads left and right. So, and I just as bearish as I am, I do not want to put on that kind of risk because I know how far this market can go. It's looking good. I just posted that picture right up here, right above us. So we got 3,800 at the main level. We got 37.80 they put on below us. We still can't touch the 8 EMA yet. One of the stronger moves I've probably seen since March. I think this may be the strongest move I've seen since March. Not only price action, not volume, because right here, still low volume. All that stuff still applies. The VIX ain't moving still. In fact, the VIX is bouncing back up into 30. From a price action standpoint, this is probably the strongest move I've seen since March. Yep, also right, Vampire. Also right. Yeah, I hope we rally to 4,000. What I want is 4,000. Kind of what we talked about yesterday. I would love to get 4,000 because I would take an egregious position size on probably 3650 August puts on SPX, somewhere in that ballpark. If we did, depending on how long it took us to get to 4,000. It's only now 100 or 200 points out after today's rally. JP Morgan lays off hundreds in the mortgage business after the rate surge, hundreds more to be reassigned in demand. Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. And now people are starting to talk about adjustable rate mortgages. They're going to start pushing adjustable rates because of the 30 year is so high. Is that they're going to start putting arms. And when you start pushing arms, you're going to have a 2008 situation again. So there's the 8 EMA, 37.85. Are we starting to round over? I mean, this is just 2 candles, so we'll see what happens. We do have some red coming in here, profit taking. We'll see if it's more than profit taking, if they're going to end the squeeze and drop us back. I told you all my thesis for the day. We'll see if it plays out. 37.80 is bottom liquidity for the day. We'll see if we eat through that and go. Louis, you need ESU 22. ESM are the June contracts, and they have since expired. So now we're going with September contracts, which is ESU 22, Echo Sierra Uniform 22. Possibility of recession. So everything he's saying is just confirming what we know, and they're still squeezing us out. That's how they do it. Counter intuition. You're very welcome, Louise. Close out the short puts, 82%. Nice, Murph. Well done. Yeah, so here's a test of that 37.81 level. So VIX is still holding 29.85, kind of trickling off. We did gap down a little bit from, 31.4, coming on down. Thinking of swing calls if we're good on R4. I'm not taking anything like that. No. I think the past 48 hours shows that like that's. I mean, look, we just had a 100-point sell-off, a 100-point buy-up. I don't know. I'd rather do futures because it gives me a little more flexibility. You could do SPX on IBKR, but there's very little liquidity, so it's more difficult to manage than it is futures. Would you consider building to a long put position? Not yet. If we go up to 4,000 or even 3,900, I'll start building into that position. I don't expect 4,000. I'd love to get it, but I don't expect that. I think abolished. I think it's $1,000. I think you need $1,000 to do E-Trade. I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, today would have been a beautiful strangle day. Close out the puts, and now you close out the calls. It would have been a beautiful strangle day. This is the best possible price action for a strangle, right here. This is like strangle heaven. Do you feel more confident in fully engulfing candle to continue a large wick or reversal? Either one of those. Either one of those tells me something. If this was a bull market, I would be looking at swing calls if this closes up here. But this is a bear market and we're selling off everything. If you go back and look at the the May 27th until June 8th candles, literally we were red, green, 80 points up, 80 points down, 80 points up, 80 points down, 80 points up, 80 points down. Red, green bar coding. And that's what we're starting to do today. So in a bull market, I'm swinging calls. In a bear market, I'm more apt to swing puts than I am swing calls because if you can catch a winner on swing puts, it's going to continue to sell off and go. Whereas swing calls can be sold off and reversed very quickly, although that's what happened today with the puts. So. With all the pre-market sell-offs, you worried about missing something with 7% down? Do you expect to come up soon? I mean, yeah, that's always a concern. But if I see that kind of when we do have that day, I don't know when it'll be, you'll see it. That stuff doesn't creep up on you. So I'll just short futures when that happens. If I'm not already in a position, I'll just short futures. But nice, Soul. Yeah, good stuff. Go enjoy that gym. We'll get some more movement here. Whether we blast at 38.30 or 37.30, we'll get some movement here. The thing is, we haven't had a good trend down day since mid-May. We haven't even had a good. Yesterday was the closest thing that we had to a strong trend up day. So we've had we've had some downward days, sure, but it hasn't been where it sold off and it just kept on selling off like this, like here on a bull day. We've just ridden the 8 all the way up. We haven't had a trend down that just never touches the 34 all the way down. And since mid-May, I think mid-May is when that happened. So, and the VIX hasn't moved. We're not going to get that until the VIX starts moving again. We spike up to 38 or so. So, not where it didn't have had a lot of buy-ups. Like it would have still $2 and $3 buy-ups on SPY before it turned and kept going down. But it was mid-May where we had that. Literally, it just sold off on the morning bell and kept on going. But or update, like this is, the past 2 days have been the bullish days we've had because the way this market is with the VIX, no, the options chain is pretty tame at the moment. It's just hard to get those complete convictions one way or the other at the moment. In your opinion, what would be better, buying 100 shares of SPY or Qs? I plan on selling covered calls. For me, it would be SPY. SPY is more diverse, more robust. I am Joseph. Yep. 30 is the new 20. Yeah. So we got 30 minutes until UK closes. That'll bring in a little volatility in price action here. It's not something I do, Apollo, but it's not to say that's not a good thing to do. It's just something I don't do all that often. I always do. I stick to the basics. So a little bit of a rejection up there of just under 3,800, which rightfully so, that's a pretty large level. The 3,800 will be the new 3,700. Am I loaded to put that call back on? Right now, I'm not really looking at much. So, I took my put, I lost, I've scalped my way back into profitability, and I've fought. So now I'm just kind of like sitting back and looking to see what happens here. I've got my thoughts, I've got my processes, but obviously I don't know what's going to happen. That's the nature of the market. So I'm looking to see how this is going to react. We know how we reacted to the pre-market, just green. How are we going to react to this squeeze to 3,800? The price action on all the X's look pretty similar, except for energy. Energy got smoked. XLF is very high. They went up, actually, they tested yesterday's highs, didn't actually breach it. Bonds bounced off of yesterday's 109 and spiked up to 113. So the bonds there going up along with XLF. And the VIX is still hanging out here at 30. Approximately how many contracts do you use on your scalp in the SPX? It depends. It depends. I mean, I can scale out, yeah. All my positions, I have the ability of scaling out. So there's a little bit of consolidation. Microsoft is climbing, the others are not. So Microsoft just put in a new high of the day. Apple, Amazon are both kind of doing what ES is doing here. They're just kind of little rejection from the top. Bookmap has 3780. Nasdaq's got 767 and then 820. And we're pinging right up here. If you are in tier 2, look at the weekly game plan channel and look at that green line that we're pinging up against right now. That's a significant level here for the weekly target. I didn't expect the weekly target to be breached today, but it did. 37.76. What we got? I am hungry. Haven't had lunch since yesterday. All right, so we got a little bit of red here across all of the tickers. We got 37.77. You got the 21 EMA. What are we going to do? Nope, my mute again. I'm on patient purple. Yeah, I'm actually considering doing that. I'd pretty much do it anyway. I don't eat breakfast. The most I'll have is a coffee and a protein shake in the morning, depending on how vigorous my training is. Taco Bell, yeah. As much as I talk about Taco Bell, y'all would think I eat it all the time, but I actually very rarely eat that stuff. Gotta watch my figure. Getting old, man. Getting old sucks. All right, there's a nice, healthy red candle, 37.73. We've got Nasdaq's finally coming out. VIX is popping back up over 30 again. Nice, healthy, big red bubbles. Let's see how far they take us. I told y'all we're giving back some of this. I did adjust my thesis. I don't think we're coming all the way back down. I think we'll give back half of it, but we'll see how far. 37.73. The 34 would be my first pivot, 37.65, if we come down. Ooh, Mexican pizzas are back. Are they really back? Like for good? I know they had some supply chain issues there, but ooh, don't tell Mrs. OM that. Don't ping her and tell her that. That's what we'll be having for dinner. Oh, it's good. You know, it's one of those things. It's not like if you compare it to real Mexican food, it's not going to be amazing. It's like comparing Domino's pizza to New York pizza. I mean, Domino's pizza is good, but it's Domino's pizza. It's not gonna hold up against New York style pizza. Same thing with the Mexican pizza. It's good, but it's not gonna hold up against real Mexican food. It has its place. All right, 37.76 right now. A lonely VWAP. My whole count has been both up and down 20%. Oof, yeah. Dude, position sizes, man. How do you do that? Your blood pressure must be through the roof. I mean, it's the bottom of the barrel, Harmston, but it has its place. You know, if it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you want a pizza and there's nothing else open, Domino's is open. Domino's got your back. You have to remember, outside of New York City, you can't get pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can get Ray's pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning in New York. At least you could when I went there, but you can't do it down here in the South. Chicago's pizza is better than New York. Those are two different types of pizzas. Chicago's pizza is a casserole. New York style pizza is delicious. Not saying that Chicago's not delicious, but they're two different types. It's like comparing, hey, yeah, apples and oranges are both fruit, but they're both completely different types of fruit. They're both amazing. I love them both. Trust me, I'm not hating on pizza. You set down Chicago style in front of me, I'm going to be like, oh, this is not New York. I'm going to be like, all right, give me a fork and a knife. In fact, don't give me a fork and a knife. I'm just going to go face deep in this thing, and I'll see you in a couple hours. They're delicious. I love pizza. The last Chicago style pizza I had, I ordered from Illuminati's. Literally, the overnight service in Illuminati's. I wouldn't do that. Wasn't that good. It was like $97. Wasn't good. I do love some Sicilian. Speaking of pizza, you know what arrives this week? My uni oven, baby. Y'all gonna get some pictures of my uni. Look at my uni. We're gonna make some pizza. Cooking the uni with OM. Or I should call it the umi with an M. So we're hanging out at 37.75. Did you go with the pellet? No, I went with the multi-fuel. I don't know if you can do the pellets on that. I know you can do wood or you can do gas. I don't know if you can do pellets on it. So the uni brony. The uni rooney. The uni rooney. At what point am I starting to think about puts? If we start getting a little hairy under here, I'll look at puts. But obviously there's still buyers here. We are now in a trend up day. Regardless of my thesis, we are now in a trend up day. And a 0 DTE put is counter trend, so we have to wait for the very precise time to play puts here. Regardless of my thesis. Thanks, Riz. Hungry Howies? Oh my gosh, I haven't had Hungry Howies since Florida. Hungry Howies. Do I ever play oil? Occasionally I will. XLE mainly. I missed the XLE drop. I was looking for puts. I didn't get it. From 93 to 73. That would have been two 1,700% gains if I played that. But oh, Hungry Howies went out of business. That's not sad. Yeah, I have a lot of memories in Hungry Howies being in spring break. Down in Panama and Destin. Oh yeah? Oh good, good. You sold some July 65 puts today for September call. Like you closed them or you wrote them? Pack fan. Good. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't read. If I would have read, I would have known what you were talking about. My bad. I didn't read the rest of your sentence. To pay for September call. I see. That's pretty much it, Chris. That's pretty much it. You got it nailed on the head. The European market closes in 21 minutes. Housing market thoughts. The housing market thoughts, man, I've tried to talk to as many people as I could. Even Dave Ramsey says the housing market is not going to crash. He thinks it's going to continue to go up. He thinks it may flatten, but it's not going down. I've talked to people that think we're going down. I've talked to people that think we're going to continue to go up. Most of the people that think we're going up are usually have some sort of vested interest in the market. I think it's going to depend. I don't think we're going to have a 2008 style crash. I do think we're going to have some sort of retracement. It's got to. I mean, prices can't continue to go straight up. They not for any perpetual amount of time. I know people say it can always go back up, or it can always continue to go up. That's true, yeah. But for the long term, in perpetuity, I think that's the word, perpetuity. Nothing can go straight up. So there's going to have to be some sort of a pullback. It's just I don't know how big that pullback is going to be. The reason being is that this housing market bubble has been driven by supply and demand. Mainly driven by the main catalyst was institutional buying of residential properties. Whether it be Airbnb or your tinfoil or your aluminum foil hat theories on BlackRock or whatever it is, especially the fact that BlackRock was a government subsidied private company, which is an oxymoron, buying up residential properties for whatever reason that you may think, in addition to Airbnbs and Verbos and all these things, bought up the supply. And when you restrict the supply of something, the demand for it is going to skyrocket. It's going to be a feeding frenzy. If you've got a tank full of 50 sharks and you deprive them of food for a couple of weeks and then you throw in some chum, enough chum for 5 sharks, those 50 sharks are going to go crazy trying to get that chum. So, and that's what we did. We BlackRock came in and bought up all the chum. Yeah, the 2% definitely fueled everything. But I think that was correlated. I think these institutions knew what was the writing on the wall. They're smart enough dudes. So they knew that one of the safest assets they could park their money in a pandemic recession is real estate. But that's my tinfoil hat theory. Yeah, Bookmap's got 11,655, and they put on 11,640 on NASDAQ. On ES, they don't really have anything below us. They're starting to build a little bit at 3740, but everything is definitely above us. They took off 3800, so a lot of that crap at 3800 is now gone. I'm not paying attention to these two levels because these are the weekly levels. The 3810 and the 3830 are the stuff that's always there, so I'm not paying attention to that. The 3800 they've removed a lot of. So monitor I'm just figuring out where they're going to put on this liquidity here. Yeah, I would say VWAP is a pretty good probability today. Below that, who knows? There's one thing to be biased. There's one thing to play into your bias. Usually playing into your bias, especially in the face of adversity, gets you destroyed. Chris, generally speaking, what does it mean when other markets close? Is that time where you should have your finger on the sell button? Yes. So I would say the name of the game for that is volatility. When the European market closes, it brings in the volatile price action right there because we usually go up or down, and it removes that little bit of outside emphasis on another market. Once that's removed, we go somewhere. Alvin, yeah, let me do that for you. There you go. VIX has had a $722 million call order for 35 cents. Well, do you know what the strike on it? Or 35 calls? Was it 35? Oh, that's probably 35 calls. I probably read that wrong. I mean, I believe it. I believe it. Well, I'm doing that, but right now in this type of environment, you still want to invest in real estate, but you want to transition to land in this environment. I'm not really looking to buy up homes at the moment because I think prices are going to come down a little bit. I don't think they're going to continue to go back up. I don't think we're going to crash. I think we are going to come down. There's going to be a natural retracement there. But right now I'm going to focus on land because land will always go up. In 2004, in my neck of the woods, people were complaining that they had to pay $6,000 an acre for land, for good, usable, flat field, like development style land. $6,000 an acre. They were complaining about it. Now it's $60,000 an acre. In fact, up to upwards of $70,000 depending on where you go. And if you get into a nice neck of the woods, like you're talking 100 grand at least. Commercial properties, $100 million an acre. It's crazy. So always, always, always invest in land. Land will never go down, especially as the population grows. But inflation's not real. Yeah. Yep. Amazon's bouncing on VWAP. Apple's just above it here. Microsoft is still Microsoft was the first indication of some bullish action this morning. It blasted. Actually, Meta was blasted, and now it's been chopping sideways. They haven't had that little upside down V that Amazon and Apple have. Microsoft went straight up, and now they're just sideways. We were talking about legging some Amazon options yesterday, I think. Is that still? Yes, it is. I'm going to start playing more and more Amazon, especially down in this price point. It's going to make it a lot more attractive to play Amazon, especially as much emphasis that I've placed my career on Amazon in the past 8 years. It's something that I can trade and make a lot of money on. I could probably be just as successful trading Amazon as S&P, but now that price point is down here, good stuff. Yeah, everything Powell is saying is definitely trending towards the bear side of things, but right now we're just squeezing. Yeah, if you took a call credit spread at the very top, you could have got a very nice profit on those. I did not, but Leroy says don't do it. Don't do it. Was Spot Gamma free at one point? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. I'm not playing any Amazon right now. It's on my radar now. I'm starting to formulate how I'm going to play that in the future. So we got 11 minutes until the UK closes. Very green on the day too. We're mimicking our price action for the day. Asian markets dumped into close. So that's interesting to think. Asian markets, they spiked hard. No, they didn't. That's the prior day. Yeah, it's the prior day. So they sold off from open to close. The Asian markets did. They are now closed. The European markets are following our price action. They're mimicking what we're doing at the moment. Just kind of hanging out watching. One loss on the day, a couple scalps. Seeing if we get a continuation here. We're just kind of pinned at the moment, right above R5. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're just kind of grinding up here. We back over 37.85 again. Slow, choppy stuff so far. What percentage gain is a good time to close out a position? To me, I try not to close based on a percentage gain. Sometimes I do it, and I'm human, but I try to go based on the price action. So right here, I would probably take my profits if I was in a call. But currently no positions. How many monitors do I have? I now have 3. I now have 3 monitors. In fact, I posted it last night when I had my final setup. This is my final form. So I'm definitely getting used to it. It's a lot of benefits because now I've got freaking charts everywhere, and I can sit here and monitor everything without having to click. I can monitor all the big tech stocks. I can monitor ES, NASDAQ, Bookmap, SPY, everything, VIX. But it does take some getting used to. It is not. Here, I'll post it here. I'll post it in I'll post it in trading setups. I'll do it in general too. I'll post it in general. There you go. Yep, that's about right. Yeah, the Bookmap, which I consider a trading setup video. I could if y'all want to see it. I could do it on TikTok or something like that. I don't know. Just a short little video I'd do on my phone. The two top monitors are the 34 inches. So the bottom monitor is the 49-inch widescreen, and then the top two are the 34-inch ultra wides from LG. No TikToks. Yeah, whatever y'all want, whichever. I don't use TikTok, but. I've got that 3080. I believe it's a 3080. Hey, big green candle here. All right, so we're coming up on UK close. I'm going to bring up 3790 calls to be ready, because if UK closes, we could pop over to 3800 again, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I've got the 3080. I got that when I built this last June. No, no lag at all. In fact, right now I've got my brokers open. I've got two brokers. I've got IBKR and my E-Trade open. I've got 4 screens of TradingView open. I've got my browsers. I've got Bookmap. I've got Streamlabs open streaming. I'm playing Fortnite in the background while we're talking. Just kidding, I'm not doing that. And I've got Bookmap open, and there's no problems. It's running fine. TradingView desktop. Yeah, I have the desktop app for TradingView. Back-to-back wins in Fortnite last night. Nice, Van. Actually, I played one game of Fortnite the day the new season started with my kids, and I haven't played it since. So I haven't played much Fortnite. I use the web. What's the difference? To me, I just like the convenience of it. I'm trying to be all convenient about this. So I downloaded the app. It's great. I can open multiple instances of it without having to open my browser. I don't like using the browser because it ties up our browser tab. So. How much RAM I have? I think I have 32. Yeah, I think. I have 32 of those RAMs. I think I don't know. Those RAM thingies. No, I actually do play them with the kids. Trust me. Every now and then I'll throw down a game by myself, but 90% of my Fortnite time is spent playing with them. Since you have 2 brokers open, have you ever toyed with the idea of entering a long and short position for a stock, for a volatile stock and says a gap? I mean, no. I mean, I do that with futures. If I'm going to do that stuff, I'll do it with futures. So right now, I've got 3790s SPX, 0 DTE. Yep, I guess ZDTE. I guess that's what that means. Yeah. Will Bookmap work on a laptop? It depends on your laptop. It works on my laptop, but I've got a beefy one. It depends on your processing power of your laptop. It does take up a lot of processing power. What do you think of an overnight strangle? I mean, with this price action, strangles will probably work. Maybe I'll join you. Today is perfect price action for strangles. Perfect. It's as good as it gets. 100-point sell-off, you close the puts. 100-point immediate buy-up, you close the calls. Bada boom, bada bing, and you come out looking pretty. Sold it way too early? Yeah. The thing is, though, the strangle today, the call side of things would have been virtually worthless at open. So maybe a couple percentage points. So I would have held on to that thing because it's worthless. I always hold the worthless side of my long Strangle because just in case this crap happens. All right, 37.90. So we're bouncing back. That's a 20-point set bounce off on ES going into the European close. So it looks like we're going to release some energy here, go up and up and up. How far out of the money options ZRT's worth it? They're worth it when they pay off, but they're very risky. They're very risky. It looks like we're going all the way back up to 3,800. $37.92. Let's see if we can get to 3,800. Can we read the first principles about Strangles? I know you're totally 0D to E and have a thesis. Strangles seem directionless. They are directionless. Yeah. Yeah, that's the nature of Strangles, is that they're directionless. So the basic principle of a Strangle is that choppiness is bad, large moves are good. It doesn't matter which move. I prefer downside because you get better juice of premiums on the downside, but I don't care, up or down. Theoretically, couldn't I do a Strangle every day overnight and make a few bucks? If you think you're going to have these moves, the second you open sideways, though, your Strangle will open down 40%, at least. So that is the limiting factor with Strangles, is that if you think that we're going to open flat, and especially when you have the flat trade, you could be down 60 points on the yes and we'll open flat, and it doesn't matter what happened to pre-market. Opening flat destroys your position. Do we need an R7? If we do, I'll post it. But I want to see how they handle this double top here. I'll start calculating it, then get it ready. Yeah, you're welcome. So for 0 DTE positions today, I can do 38.25, which is still 40 points out. And I can get what form? Give me a 25 wide. $1.10 for a 25 wide call credit spread at 38.25. I can do a 30 wide for $1.15. That's usually where I'm about to hang out. Like to hang out $1, $1.50 between in there. Are spreads possible in TOS? I don't know. I would hope so. Any broker that has any kind of limitations, I'm not using it, and I recommend you do the same. I don't care who you use, but if there are any kind of limitations, you need to find yourself a different broker. Yep, so 3,800 is the new 3,700. Ghost wick. I don't see a wick. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need to upgrade if you want to do spreads. Am I doing zeros right now? I'm just window shopping right now. I may take something. Oh, I've never used Robinhood. I couldn't tell you if you can do spreads. But you know what a spread is you're selling an option closer to the money and you're buying an option further away from the money. And that gives you a net credit. I don't know if you can do it on Robinhood though. Oh, okay. All right, you can. Yeah, some people are apparently seeing a wick. I don't see a wick. I don't see a wick. Unless you're watching John Wick, which the third one was a lot of action, but I liked the first one the best. On the 1 minute. Oh, I see. Okay. Will it test 3,800 again? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we pin here for the most of the day. I think we need to have at least a flush to VWAP. Man, look at that wick. That is a wick. Crazy. Bookmap has 3780 on deck, 3775, and then we got 3800. Other than that, that's all we got. There's 3 levels today on Bookmap. 3800, 3785, 3780. That's it. Whether you're bullish or bearish today, just be careful today, please. Just like they skewered the Bears this morning, they could do it to the Bulls this afternoon. So especially with the VIX hanging out at 30. Remember what I said: the VIX over 30, you're going to get hurty, and that applies to the Bulls and the Bears. Yeah, this is what we needed on Thursday. Dang it. Tell me about it. Yeah, at 30, below 30, same thing. 29.74 is same as 30. I actually like the IBKR app. I got no problems with it. I've made some good trades on IBKR app. Yeah, I tried Webull. I thought it the same thing. Plus, a little cumbersome. At least what I tried, it was 2 years ago. I last used it. I need to log in. I haven't logged in like over a year. I have Ford and a couple other holdings in Webull. So unless Ford went to $177,000 a share, I'm not really that worried about it. Last I checked, Ford was not that high. I love IBKR. I've got them both. E-Trade was very aggravating, but you've got to use E-Trade for what it is. E-Trade is not a good platform to trade advanced strategies. It's good for just doing futures. It's good for just doing long options, but that's it. And even then, it still has some issues. So, not to mention, I do think it's a good practice to have money in two different brokers, just in case one of them goes down. I want to be able to trade if the broker goes down. So I have funds in E-Trade, I have funds in IBKR. I actively trade both, and I do two very different strategies on IBKR. So I use long options and some future scalps in E-Trade, and everything else I push to IBKR. I think 2:30 is when Biden's talking today. Oh, nice, Patient Purple. Oh, nice, Profits Reaper. Well done. 8 for 10. Good stuff. This morning is as frustrated as I get in trading. But it's one of those things you got to shut it down and start playing the right positions. I saw a put go from plus 34%, and it got stopped out in 30% loss. So I immediately have to say, okay, that's aggravating, but I have to focus on the task at hand, and that is to looking at how we're going to go from here. Do I need to switch to calls? And the hardest thing that we as humans have to do is maybe I'm just wrong. And I had to play calls. If you can learn to tell yourself that you're wrong, then you could be successful. What's up, Bet? How you doing? 2326. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, they did pump it for sure. All I have is liquidity at 3,800. Like I said, I'm not paying attention to 38.30 or 38.15 because that's been there all week. It was there last week too. So I'm not paying attention to that. In terms of new, they could go there, but in terms of liquidity management, that's the same old story. The 3,800 is what I'm paying attention to because they keep putting it on and taking it off, and now it's still on. We just wiped out 37.80, and now they're going for 37.75. That's a decent red candle. Amazon is breaking through VWAP for the first time. Everything else has got a little bit of a dropperoni here. I need to see VWAP. We'll see. All right, coming on down a little bit. Let's see if we can break the 34 and go to VWAP. VWAP is down just above R4 at the moment, and tech is starting to roll over here. So, could you share how you have your trading, how you set up your trading workstation? Yeah, go look in general. I posted it there. The general chat right there. I've got 3 screens right now. How to convert SPX for SPY for options. SPY times 10 plus 19.93. So I've got the conversion in the market analysis channel. Coming on down a little bit. A little bit of drop-a-roni right now. Yeah. Yeah, baby. So where'd we open at? We opened today at 37.24. 37.24 is where we opened. Why 19.93? That's what I calculated the conversion at. It's not perfect. I've been criticized for using it. I get it. That's fine. But it gets you in the ballpark of posting your SPX levels. The best thing to do would be to independently calculate SPX levels and ES levels. I just don't have time to do that. So I calculate them on SPY, and I translate them over to SPX and ES. Is the general accessible for visitors? No. No. I do have a general chat room for the general public, but it doesn't have that in there. I could post it in there, though. Here, I'll post it in there. So VIX is back over 30, so now the VIX is over 30, you could get hurdy. So just be ready. So just a little bit of profit taken here. Below the 50 simple moving average, I would start to look for a reversal trade. I mean reversal to the downside, which we are in the middle of reversal. So as long as we bounce here and go up, I still think we'll hover around here at 3,800. Below this level, we can start looking at reversal. So 3670 minus 19.93 divided by 10 would be 365. 365. Almost on the dot. How can I hold winners longer? I always seem to tend to sell early like I did on put scalp. Set, stop, scale out. There's a whole bunch of different things. It all has to do with managing our emotions. There are times to let them run. There are times to cut them short. Honestly, that depends on the price action. So you have to do your due diligence on learning your craft, learning the setup, learning the price action, and then setting stops. If you've got multiple contracts, you could scale out, leave runners. Very, very rarely do I leave an entire position to go the entire length of the trade. Sometimes I do it. The 1700% trade, I let most of it go until about 870%, and then I let the runners go to 1700%. So I would say roughly if SPY under approximately 374.5, somewhere in there, I'll look at reversal trades. Until then, I'm just going to look at chopping around 3,800. However, when I start to see a lot of unexpected price action like this morning, all I'm doing is playing defensive. Now, there's days to be defensive, there's days to be offensive, and right now I'm just playing defense. Playing defense, baby. Man, those call credit spreads would have been beautiful right now. Beautiful. All right, so, hey, tech is selling off right now. Apple's dropping, Microsoft, Amazon, XLF is still holding up here. Man, I love these setups now. I can monitor everything. I don't have to click my mouse at all. VIX is 30.06. Thoughts on CCL this morning? Carnival Cruise Lines or CL Oil? Carnival Cruise Lines, I mean, I don't know. Carnival? Yeah. I don't have it. What do they have? An earnings report this week or something? I haven't traded cruise lines since 2020. Man, those were talking about shooting fish in a barrel. Not only is it shooting fish in the barrel was just like, putting the gun up to the head for me. That was easy. What's up, Joe? Is UVXY lagging or leading? It's not leading. It's reactive. So I guess it'd be considered lagging. Did I miss the protein shake bounce? I haven't had a protein shake yet. Mrs. Ohm is about to make me a sandwich, though. That's not sexist. She's just making me a sandwich. It's just a fact. Thoughts on FedEx? No thoughts. No comment. I don't know. Nope. Just a boar's head turkey and ham. I have not, R. Butler. I have not. So the only swing positions I would play in this market is swing puts until I think we're at a bottom, which I don't think we're at. And I don't even mean the big bottom. I just mean like a short-term bottom where we go back up. Because right now we're kind of in this area where we're not quite low enough, we're not quite high enough. So I'm just going to play it as it comes. Thoughts on a tuna sandwich? Love tuna. Love tuna. Honestly, with Boar's Head, I get whatever's on sale at Publix. Whatever they got on sale for the week, that's what I'm eating on sandwiches. I'm a BOGO fiend. Like, literally, Mrs. OM will drop me off at Publix and I'll go in. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Like, I'll just go to all the aisles with the BOGOs. Like, this is what I'm buying. Why do you have 17 jars of spaghetti sauce? It's BOGO, baby. Publix is a grocery store, Bullish Bear. Grocery store. Did you post your trading setup? Yeah, I saw it I posted in the general chat. The bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. My favorite breakfast that Mrs. OM likes that I make are breakfast tacos, which I make them and I'll sell them on base for my fellow pilots. And I'll sell them. I sold 200 tacos last time I did it. It's delicious. 200 tacos. Woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to make 11 dozen eggs. This is before inflation. Now I have to charge like $17 a taco. But I am a good cook. Yes, I'm a good cook. No, it was for the fund, the pilot fund. The money stayed with them, not me. I had a really rough day trading today with overtrading and not setting a stop in too large positions. I just not give back a good week of gains. I've been doing so well, but I know my mistakes. Good. You know your mistakes. That's good. There's nothing wrong with a loss as long as you can understand it and figure out what happened. Don't do it again. Huevos Montreros. Yeah, I love me some Huevos Montreros. You know you don't always have to buy 2 of the product. Yeah, but that's not fun, Cody. That's not fun. What's better than 1 jar of spaghetti sauce? 16 jars of spaghetti sauce. Have you ever considered making cooking videos? I could, but I don't know if anybody would want to watch that. I have a friend who entered CVA long puts when he was... Wow. What are the gains on that? All right, so we're jumping down to the 50 simple moving average right now, 37.70. This is pretty much where I was saying, roughly, that if we break below here, that it could potentially be a reversal. So, am I based in Florida? No. I've been to Florida. Are those Amazon monitor arms? I've got like 3 boxes of mono arms because I had to try out a couple of different ones until I found one. The two that are holding up the 34 inchers, I think those are. I don't know what brand they are. They got good reviews. They fit my description. I got them. So 3769. I got two 34 inchers and I got the 49 inch Samsung. Yeah, PJ's gonna be mad at me. I know. Red candles. Still coming on down. Right now, I've got Bookmap up on the top 34 inch just because I can stream. That's my streaming screen, and that's going to stream on YouTube. So I've got that up on that one. So he sold them at 100,000%. What was the dang? Now that is a gain. I think that beats. GameStop's. No, he got 300 and some thousand%. That was ridiculous. 10,000 into 46 million. Nope, I've already got one. Omega. That was one of the first things I bought. I've got the ACOG or the ASUS 2, whatever. All right, so we're coming up here. Let's stop blabbing and look at some puts here. 37.64 already. So we're already back to almost half. Nope, not yet. That's only 30 points. We still have. Oh man. We need another 20 points to be considered half, and that fits my thesis. 20 points is half my thesis. So I thought it was 10 grand. I could be wrong. All right, I'm back. I lost my. Was it 50K? No, I thought it was 10 grand. Either way, that's still a substantial win. Powell concedes possibility that higher rates cause a recession. Well, no kidding. Yeah, I knocked the boom off my headset. Currently looking at 37.55 puts on SPX, June 22nd. Why the uni over the rock box? Never heard of the rock box. All right, so we have liquidity at 37.60, and they're building in 50, they're building in 40, they're building in 25. The one thing I hate with these monitors is like when you're trying to transition to a new monitor, your mouse kind of sticks at the border before going into the next screen. I wish I could turn that off because it's aggravating. 37.64. I've got $11.70 for these premiums. Smooth mouse transition. I probably don't have an adjusted right, W-Dog. $37.67. All right, we are now at SPY is at VWAP. We're below the 50. The 50 starting to turn red. We have the crossover of the 8 and the 21 and the 34. How are we going to respond to this right here? All right. So 30, that's a big green off of the VWAP. So the VWAP bounce on SPY, 30, that's a $10 candle on ES here. In the Bookmap, they just ate up all that 37.60. So they ate it up and they bounced it. All right, so the Powell hearing is done. He's done talking. He said a lot of bearish stuff today. So we'll see now that the London market's closed, Powell's done talking. We've had the bullishness, we've had the bearishness. How do we shake out? Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla, they just took off 722. Now they've got 14, 12, 10, and below they just put on. They also just kind of bolstered a little bit at 726 and at 730. Nope, LRS applies to puts too. It's just the trend, whether it's up or down. We'll see if this is a trend reversal or not. Ukraine drone hit a Russian oil refinery plant. Uh-oh. Yeah, don't forget about that. Honestly, we haven't even talked about, the markets haven't even cared about Russia since February. But don't underestimate Putin. Dude's insane. Don't forget about China and Taiwan. Yep, don't forget about China and Taiwan. That'll be hairy. So we get a big green like that with volume fairly higher than other candles. Does that mean smaller reversal? Potentially. Potentially. So liquidity is starting to dry up all over on Bookmap. They've got 3780 still. They put back on 3800, but the other stuff is definitely lower. In fact, they're starting to build lower. And I'll show you all this right here. Hey, look at that reversal, Roni. Reversal Roni right there. $37.66. VIX just popped right there. Pop, lock, and drop it. How is your cob so clean? It's the way I set it up. I've got my settings. I've pretty much filtered out a lot of the noise. I'm still trying to get the stupid icebergs to work. I just can't get it. I can't. I've tried reinstalling. I've done everything I could. I can't get it to work. But it's a bummer though, because the 3 days I had it, I loved it. Yes. All right, so watch this 3760. We already ate up 3760 once. They put it back on. They bounced it when they ate it up last time. Now we're grinding up against it. I'm looking for absorption right here. So I'm looking for a larger red bubble to take out 62, maybe even 60. Look, they're starting to build on 55. This is weird. And I'm still very cautious of a fake out because this is how a trend looks. They start building liquidity lower. It kind of looks like a pyramid, either up or down. Now it's down. This is how they start looking for a trend. They take out pivots, bam, 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 bam. And now we're going lower on a top of this 3762. No, I've talked to him about it. It's only isolated to me. For some reason, I think it's my settings somewhere. I just got to get in with him, but he knows about it. All right, little drop there, 37.62. We'll see what happens. Nice, spy guy. Yeah, if that's your best day you've had, then there's no shame in hanging it up for the day. All right, spies at VWAP. What happens? If a war starts, would I be on duty? I mean, yeah, all military personnel would be, and then maybe people who are not in the military personnel would be. Currently looking at 37.55s at the money positions. Would flat feet disqualify me for I don't know. I know that used to be a disqualification. I don't know if it is anymore though. There's so many office-related admin jobs you could do in the military that I don't know if they do a waiver for that. Depends on their needs, I guess. All right, 37.55s at the money positions. Looks like we are coming back a little bit. We're almost to my 50% thesis. We need another 8 points or so to get down to it. They changed the flat feet rule. Nice. Well done, Murno. See? Good job. Keep it up. Scale out. Let them run. 37.61. They ate up that 36.70, the 36.60, the 37.62. Now they're going to 37.58, and then 37.50. Hoping for your V reversal. We already had the V reversal. I think you're talking about the W reversal. I use them long term on the daily, cowboy. So I guess yeah, intraday. I don't use them on the daily. I don't use them on the minutes charts though. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the upside down V recovery. So, I mean, taking into everything, we had a short squeeze this morning. J Powell talked. You could debate which movement was the run up into the J Powell talk. We had the pre-market sell-off. We had the morning rocket that squeezed everybody out. J Powell's now done talking. Everything he said pretty much just solidifies the bearish thesis that he admits that the rate hikes will lead to a recession. We'll see how this plays out. 37.63. Nice living loop. Apple's still falling. Amazon's got a small green. XLF is coming off here as well. Yes, Chip, I am. Yeah, yep. That's pretty much the gist of it, Solaire. Can you show us Apple's Bookmap? Sure. How about them apples? 135 is the ultimate target, looks like, for Apple and Bookmap. All right, I am going to hop off here and go grab some lunch because I'm starving and my lunch is finished. So, yeah, had a lot of craziness today, man. We had 100-point sell-off, 100-point buy-up, and now we're giving about 40 points of that back, 30 points of that back. So be ready for the afternoon. I originally said I have high confidence we'll sell off every bit of this today. I reevaluated after we took out yesterday's lows, and I said half of that, we're almost there. So now I'm really going to be on my toes. My thesis is pretty much met here in the next 8 points, at which point I'm back to neutral. I have no idea where it's going, and I don't expect anything. So I will see where this goes once we kind of hit 37, 56 and around there and go from there. So stay on your toes. We're going to figure out where we're going. I'm watching all indicators. I'm watching all the segments, all the X sectors, and then figure out how we're going to apply this into the afternoon. So I will see you all this afternoon. Y'all take it easy, be smart, position size, and use stops. I'm out. Yummy. Thank you. Hey, that was my daughter. My bad. So